Hello, this is Tiger XI, and this is the do's and don'ts of brigade wars. First thing, you have to make sure. First thing is make sure your tank has boost. Boost is, as you see these things at the side, there are certain levels. From level 1, you get 5% damage, all up to 25% damage, and it's the same with the health, speed, and the view ends. Next thing, I'd say you have to have a good plan / tactics for map. Like, for example, a tactic that will work well in modern era might not work in World War II. Like in modern, it might be full on attack, like attack as a pack, or someone might flank around the corner and get you up the sides, and someone might snipe, which is a more often thing in this game. The same with World War II, sniping I think has been a big thing and often. And also this leads into my next point on the do's, which is support. You have to make sure you're in support of each other. Like in other words, if you advance, make sure you have someone beside you. Like if you're shooting, if someone sees you and two of them see you, make sure you have someone beside you to counteract someone that's attacking you. In other words, like concentrated fire. Like one shoots one tank, another one has to try and shoot him as well. So that's another thing. The next thing is you have to be respectful. Like often I've been in brigades that people just give out shit. That people give out shit over a loss. Like might blame a person, might say, "Oh, you did this wrong," bleep bleep bleep, etc. And they might blame you on the loss, or they might blame you on the loss, and they might kick you out of the crew for not being that active, but for not obeying some different plan. And that's mostly the crews up the top end of the leaderboard will be this way. Will be the top end will probably have that type of scenario, but I don't do that. I usually got my respect. Like if you try your best and you get a win, it's a bonus. But at the end of the day, it's all about respect and trying to put effort and try and do your best. As long as my team gives 100%, I'm happy. The next thing is make sure you have top tier in every vehicle. Like what that means is, I've seen it in many brigades. Like most brigades I've played against have had, for example, a tier 4 in it. Some have had a tier 5. Others might have a tier 4, others might have a tier 5. And often mixed tiers, so it might not work. For example, like see here, this lad's tier 7 might not work in the brigade war, because as you know, in brigade wars it's like, for example, animal documentaries, like hunted type thing. Like for example, Vine was in a brigade war and I was fully boosted and I seen that tank in a tier 7, I would probably take it out first, because it's more like, the reason why I recommend full strong tiers is it mostly goes by weakness. You don't show weakness in brigade wars or you'll be punished. For example, as you see here, this is like maps, like this map here, you probably have one different tactic. Other maps you probably have a different tactic. Like it's not always the same tactic per map. Let me concentrate here as I do with this fella. See, some different tactics vary. Like often you see players hang for example around here, this area, just waiting for you to appear, then snipe you from long range. So I would be aware. And plus, another thing I have to add on the do's is be map aware. Watch where the map is. You don't just sit back. Don't just sit back, for example. Don't just advance. For example, okay, what I'm doing is wrong, but what I'm doing is actually wrong. See? For example, I'm here and there's two at me. Like, one can get me at the front, one can get me at the flank. For example, I shoot him here. There's one there at the side, which means he can shoot me at the flank, which will probably deal more damage. I move over, I get hit the flank, I get hit there, and you see what that does. That for example brings me down to a certain HP, and by me going here, it brings two in, and as you see, 1, 2, 3 gone. That tells you why support is important in brigade wars. Now, I'm moving on to the don'ts. On the don'ts, the first I'll say, don't be a hero. In other words, don't go charging off by yourself. If you charge off by yourself, you're going to get destroyed very quickly, and it could be a big negative. In other words, if you charge off by yourself, 3 tanks can go on you like a light, and that would change the battle immediately. 3 tanks might charge up, 3 tanks might gang on you like immediately and take you out. So that's why I would recommend don't be a hero. Just be aware, like look at the clock. If you want to, you can just frustrate them and let them come at you, instead of just going bat out of hell at the opposition, at the rivalry, at the opposition brigade. The second thing is, don't blame commanders. Like, I see brigades blame commanders over losses, but we have to realise they could be busy, some of them might have events going on and all that. Like, I've get that a load of this need commander crap. Like, even some people crying out for help when it comes to adding a team. Like, if some people are busy, you can't just force them to help out. Like, people have a life outside the game is another thing, and that goes on top. This goes on top of the other thing. Like I said, don't blame players. Like, you can't just put the blame on one player. Like, oh, you did badly, you didn't go, you didn't follow me, you didn't do this, you didn't do that, for example. It lowers morale, and the player might leave a brigade because of it. Another thing is, like I said about boost, you don't go in half boosted. If you go in half boosted, your tank, let's say you only have, for example, the damage and the HP fully boosted, and you don't have speed or view range. For example, a tank that's faster than you would get you very quickly. So that's why I would recommend swapping out for a person that does have boost. And another thing, you don't go with the same players all the time. You have to rotate your team around, like put others involved. In other words, like have an A, B or C team, just to make sure it's more fresh so everyone gets a battle. Thank you very much. See ya.